Week 5, kicking it off, getting into it, Shopify, growth, design team. Okay, I've been getting my head around a lot of stuff, building a ton of context. And as I said in week 1, I want to share this out loud. I want to share my experiences. I want to bring the inside out and do as much as I can to give people an understanding of what's happening here, what's going on design-wise, why I think this is one of the greatest times ever to join a design team at this huge inflection point in the design space, in the design market, in what design even is. This week, I'm kicking heavy into AI usage and reflexive AI. Famously, this company talked a lot about AI right from the top a while back. And to me, it's like, where does that permeate and where does that really show up for the designers? I think in the design market and in the design community right now, you're hearing a lot about AI, about how a designer can and should be using it, what tooling to use, how it's showing up, the demand for it. Yet, when you dig into a lot of those companies, how many are really using it in their workflows? Is there standard practice? How advanced are they in the designer's usage of AI? I think once you start to dig in, you get some really, really different answers. And you start to find that there's a big discrepancy out there in the market between what people say they're doing and what they're actually doing and maybe where they're at. One thing I'm feeling pretty common across the space is that everyone is really at the early stages of AI usage in a designer's toolkit. I don't know that any company is fully locked down a flow with it, because there's still so much variance with this tooling. There's still so much evolving with it. It's at the earlier stages. But what I'm finding here in particular is that all designers are getting such a head start on it. For example, every tool you can pretty much think of, designers have access to here. Any kind of research partner, any kind of querying you might have, you can dig into that tooling and you can scroll through and you can access most of those partners. Now, for a designer's workflow, where you're seeing that tooling just shift things so much, to me, is really showing up heavily in prototyping and getting to that stage so quickly and so rapidly and bringing ideas to life far more realistic and even closer to their final output than ever been before. Remember the time of grey box wireframes, of even drawing things and testing and paper prototypes and having people test with that? Long gone. Not even clickable prototypes in Figma feel like they're really cutting it anymore. Being able to prototype and bring ideas to life so quickly and so realistically is more where things are heading and is almost becoming minimum standard. The designer's ability to influence the actual end product, to take their designs, to use AI tooling, to use things like Claude Code, to use Cursor, to actually push real code, live code, and make sure that their designs are showing up at the detail that they want in the final end product. So much more power is going to the designer to have the influence over the final product of their work. I'm sure many designers can tell you stories of working on great designs, shipping them off to engineering, and then what ultimately makes it out and goes live and is pushed can be really quite different. And there's a myriad of reasons why that ended up happening. That is not really an excuse anymore. And I feel like designers are being so much more empowered to have the ability to control those details and the final output. So as a designer, if you're not digging into this tooling, if you're not thinking about how it works in your workflows, if you're not thinking about how this stuff shows up, then I think you're already falling behind where a lot of the market and the industry is going. I would say here in particular is the best time to be a beginner in this space. The team is rallying around all designers and giving them all the tooling, all the space, all the encouragement and empowerment to become absolute experts. It is almost a non-negotiable to be a designer here and not be harnessing a lot of this tooling. It is where things are going. We saw it before, Adobe to Sketch to Figma. This is an evolution. This is another change of tooling. This is a pivotal moment, but this is the time to get up to speed now. I love working with the designers here and hearing more about how they're bringing that into their workflows. So that's been a big focus for me this week. How much usage is happening, where it actually shows up, and why as a designer, being in this team right now and building and getting that support and actually getting full hands-on experience with this tooling where you are going to add it to your toolkit, this is the time. This is definitely go time for that. So much more to come. I'm going to keep at it, and I'll see you out there.